The storm chased her like a furious creature made of light, snarling across the cracked plains as she sprinted toward the shelter. The air hummed with ionized particles, sharp enough to tingle against her skin, and every flash of blue lightning stretched her long ears stiff in alarm. She slammed into the shelter door, slapped the access pad, and tumbled inside just as the wind roared past like it wanted to drag her back out. She caught her breath, straightened, brushed dust from her suit, and then froze in a way no storm could have caused. A human sat on the floor, legs stretched out, armor dented, heater flickering uncertainly beside him. He blinked at her with the exhausted calm of someone too tired to be surprised by anything, and she stared back, ears twitching wildly as if they were attempting to retreat without her. He raised a hand in an awkward half-wave, like he'd only just remembered how greetings worked. Hi." She responded with a sound halfway between a hiss and a groan, which he optimistically interpreted as communication. She pressed herself against the hatch and tried to decide whether staying inside with a human or going back out into a murderous iron storm was the worse option. The storm thundered, the shelter trembled. She resigned herself to the inevitable and stepped farther in. He scooted to the side, making room with exaggerated politeness, as if sharing a 4x4-meter metal box could be done gracefully. "Didn't expect company," he said. "Storm's nasty out there." "It is trying to peel the moon," she muttered, her voice accented and sharp. "Also, your shelter smells like burnt protein paste." "That might be me," he admitted. "Long day." She eyed him from head to toe. "Your species often smells like a long day." "Harsh but fair." The heater flickered again, buzzing like it was contemplating retirement. She inspected it, her ears tilting forward. "Your device is malfunctioning." "It's doing its best," he said, "like me." She crouched beside it anyway, poking at the panel. Sparks snapped, her ears jerked straight up, and she shot him an accusing glare. "You let it bite me." "You opened it," he protested. "I didn't tell you to put your fingers in the angry part." Despite herself, a short laugh escaped her. The sound surprised them both. The shelter rattled as a surge hit the outer wall, making dust drift from the ceiling. She steadied herself and moved closer to him, not out of trust, she told herself, but because the wall behind her looked like it had opinions about collapsing. He adjusted the heater, and the tiny device managed a steady glow, warming the cramped space just enough. Her long ears relaxed slightly, no longer flattened in combat readiness. He pulled a ration bar from his pack and offered it to her. "Want half?" She sniffed it and recoiled. "Is this food or something your species uses to punish criminals?" "Both sometimes," he said. "It grows on you." "So do fungi." He grinned, and for a moment the storm's endless roar felt far away. She sat opposite him, knees almost touching because there simply wasn't enough room for dignity. Every few minutes her ears twitched at some noise from the storm, each time making him peer upward as if expecting the roof to unzip. When she caught him staring at her ears again, she narrowed her eyes. "Do not touch them." "I wasn't going to." "You were thinking about it." "Maybe." The heater buzzed a warning and dimmed. She tapped her wrist scanner, frowning at the readings. "The storm is intensifying. Ion density is exceeding normal parameters." He sighed. "Great. This moon hates us." "It is indifferent," she corrected. "You are too small for hatred." "Wow," he said. "You're really gifted at encouragement." The shelter groaned again, but not from the wind this time. A low thrum vibrated through the floor, subtle but unmistakably artificial. Her ears snapped upright. He noticed instantly. That wasn't the storm, was it? "No," she said slowly. "Something is riding the storm's current." "Please tell me it's friendly." "It is vibrating at 43 hertz," she replied. "That is not a friendly frequency." He rubbed his face. "Of course. Trapped in a box with a stranger while an unknown something taps on the storm outside. Perfect evening." "If you die," she said thoughtfully, "may I have your heater?" "That's cold." "It is survival." Another vibration pulsed through the floor, stronger this time. She moved closer to him, Not out of fear, she would never admit that, but because he was warm and the storm felt suddenly intelligent. He glanced at her, then at the door, then back at her, ears trembling in tiny, involuntary flicks. "Guess we're in this together," he said. She exhaled, slow and reluctant. "For now." Outside, the storm screamed, and somewhere beneath it, something else screamed back. Inside the shelter, two unlikely allies sat shoulder to shoulder, pretending the sound didn't make their hearts race in sync. The floor throbbed again, a low pulse that made the loose tools on the shelf rattle like they were trying to escape. She tilted her head, ears lifting in a slow, deliberate arc as she listened. He watched them move with the helpless fascination of someone observing advanced alien technology disguised as adorable anatomy. She noticed, glared, and he looked away very suddenly, pretending to examine the heater as if it held the secret to the universe. "That signal is not natural," she said. "Something is modulating the storm's ion currents." He poked the heater, which responded by flashing an angry red light. "Can it not do that while we're in a box made of scrap metal and optimism?" She crouched beside the floor panel and scanned again. "The frequency is patterned, repeating, like a beacon." "Good," he muttered, "because nothing says pleasant evening like a mysterious beacon in a storm." The shelter shook, but this tremor felt purposeful. She widened her stance. He tried to mimic her and failed, looking more like he was preparing to dance than brace for danger. She flicked her ears in disapproval. "Your posture is wrong." "Sorry," he said. "My species doesn't come with stabilizers." "I noticed." He opened his mouth to reply, but the interior lights flickered twice and cut out. The shelter plunged into the dim glow of the dying heater. She rose immediately, activating the soft blue light from her wrist device. "Power has been disrupted. The storm shouldn't affect internal circuits this deeply." "You're saying this thing out there is messing with us on purpose?" he asked. "Yes." "Fantastic." With power down, the temperature dropped quickly. She shivered but kept examining the floor. He rummaged through a storage compartment and found a backup lantern that looked older than both their civilizations combined. He smacked it lightly and it flickered to life with a tired hum. She snorted. "Your technology is fragile," says the person who got bitten by a heater. "That was sabotage by poor design." He held up the lantern in triumph, even as dust sprinkled off it. "Behold, human engineering. It is rust. It's vintage." She ignored him and pried open the floor panel with a tool that was definitely not designed for prying. Underneath, the auxiliary conduits shook with rhythmic vibrations, the patterns glowing faintly in sync with the storm outside. She leaned closer, narrowing her eyes. "This frequency, it's searching." "For what?" "For something inside the shelter." He put his hands up, nodded. She sighed. "Do your species always fear being chosen first?" "We're very experienced with bad luck." The vibrations increased, and a high-pitched whine filled the air, so sharp her ears folded halfway back. She winced, reaching up to steady them reflexively. He panicked at her reaction. "Are you okay? Is it dangerous?" "It is loud," she said through clenched teeth, "and rude." He knelt beside her, trying to listen the way she did. To him, it was only a faint ringing. "Your hearing's picking up more than mine." "Obviously." "Well, excuse me for having simple ears." "That is not your fault." He blinked. Was that sympathy? "Do not become hopeful." The whine cut abruptly, leaving a vibrating silence. She stared at the conduit, then at him. "It has stopped scanning. It found something." He swallowed. "Please tell me the something isn't me." "It is not you." A pause, probably. He buried his face in his hands. "Why do I feel like I'm in the prologue of a very tragic report?" She leaned closer to the conduit, tracing the glowing patterns with a fingertip. "This signal is too organized, too intelligent. Someone is using the ion storm as cover." "For what?" he asked. "To infiltrate," she said, "or to observe." He groaned. "Great, we're being watched, in a broom closet. This is exactly the moment I want to make a good impression." She stood abruptly. "I can counter the signal. if I adjust the shelter's exterior plates to create a harmonic interference. Do we still have exterior plates? Some of them. Comforting. She moved to the hatch, inspecting the controls. The storm outside roared like a beast denied its prey. Lightning cracked so close that both flinched. He placed a hand on the wall, feeling the static dance under his palm. "You're really going out there?" he asked. "I must," she said. "If I alter the plates, I can disrupt the scanning pattern." He hesitated, chewing his lip. "You'll get fried." "I will be efficient." "That is not an answer." She turned, meeting his eyes. For a moment the wind outside vanished under the weight of the silence between them. Her ears dipped slightly, a movement he had learned meant sincerity. "You are human," she said softly. "You fear, but you act anyway." He blinked. "That's not usually how people compliment us." "I did not say it was a compliment." He laughed despite himself, then exhaled shakily. "Fine, if you're going out, I'm helping." Her ears shot up. "You are not. You said it yourself. Bad luck chooses me. Might as well make myself useful." She stared at him, baffled and exasperated, as the shelter trembled again under the storm's wrath. Then reluctantly she nodded. "Very well," she said. "But if you get electrocuted, I am not carrying you back." "Deal." Together, they approached the hatch as the storm screamed like a living thing waiting to welcome them. The hatch groaned open, and the storm lunged inside as if offended they dared to interrupt it. Ionized wind swirled around them in bright ribbons, crackling against their suits. She stepped out first with the confidence of someone who had clearly ignored danger her entire life. He followed with the confidence of someone who regretted every decision that had led him here. The metal plates along the shelter walls shuddered like frightened animals, each pulse of lightning lighting up her long ears in brilliant flashes. She scanned the structure, then pointed to the top edge where the metal bent inward. "There, the resonance node is forming." He looked up and squinted at the swirling glow. "Are you sure that's not just the storm yelling at us?" "Storms do not yell," she said. "They hiss, growl, and occasionally whisper. This is neither." Another pulse hit the shelter, vibrating through their boots. He stumbled. She grabbed his arm. Neither mentioned it. She climbed the support rungs with quick, agile motions. He followed less gracefully, nearly getting slapped in the face by her ear when she turned too quickly. "Watch your extremities," he called. "My extremities are fine," she said. "Yours appear confused." They reached the top plate where energy coiled like a living thread, weaving patterns through the storm. Her scanner blinked crimson. "The probe is close. It is using the storm as a channel." "Probe," he repeated. "So definitely not friendly." "It depends," she said. "Some probes are peaceful. This one isn't peaceful, is it?" She paused. "No." She knelt beside the plate, opening her toolkit. Iron gusts whipped her hair across her face, and he shielded her with his shoulder, pretending it was just practicality. She said nothing, but her ears dipped in a way that made him wonder if that meant thanks. "If I invert the harmonic frequency," she said, "it will disrupt the probe's control link." "Will it stop it?" "It will annoy it, severely." He sighed. "Annoying the enemy, my specialty." A sharp vibration sliced through the wind. She froze. "It is here." Something descended through the storm, barely visible except for the shifting distortion it caused, like a hole carved in the lightning itself. A metallic drone emerged, framed by blue arcs. It hovered with predatory precision and scanned the shelter, then turned toward them. "It sees us," he said helpfully. "Because you spoke loudly," she snapped. "It doesn't have ears." "Everything has ears metaphorically." The drone fired a thin beam that cut across the plate, melting a clean line. She grabbed the plate edges, shouted, "Invert now." He slammed his hand against the exposed wiring without thinking. Sparks erupted, the plate hummed, and a harmonic wave rippled through the storm. The drone jerked midair, shuddered violently, and emitted a sound like a swallowed scream before collapsing into the wind. He stared at his smoking glove. "That was a choice. You inverted it with your bare hand," she said. "That was reckless." "It worked, though." She considered him, ears angling in a soft curve he now recognized as approval. Yes, it did. The storm began to weaken around them, the violent colors fading into duller currents. The energy that had twisted itself around the shelter loosened its grip. She scanned the remains of the drone as it dissolved into scattered metal dust. The probe was mapping defenses, she said. Yours and mine, both our species were targets. Shared danger, he said. Guess it makes us allies. She blinked slowly. Yes, strange as that remains. They climbed back down together. The storm still groaned, but its fury had dimmed into exhaustion, as if tired of being dramatic. Inside the shelter, the systems flickered back on one by one, humming with new life. The heater glowed warmly, no longer angry. He sank onto the floor, rubbing his still tingling hand. Next time, he said, I vote we hide until the danger gives up. That is not a strategy, she said. That is surrender. It's strategic surrender. She sat beside him, closer than before, their shoulders brushing in a way that didn't feel accidental. Her long ears relaxed into a gentle curve. You acted without hesitation, she said. Humans confuse me. We confuse ourselves, he replied. It's tradition. She smiled, small, careful, but